Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Tang asks, "Do you prefer the Invisible Man or the Human Vapor?" I prefer the Invisible Man by far.
Mm.
The Human Vapor, that's an Ishiro Honda movie, is a good movie, but its script doesn't make a lick of sense if you really start dissecting it. That's the problem. The thing that saves the Human Vapor is its characters, particularly the Human Vapor himself. That's what saves that movie. However, Justin, I can't really agree with you, or I can't really say it's a better movie because I watched The Invisible Man and it makes logical sense what they do. The science doesn't make a lick of sense, but that's fine. In terms of the decisions that are made, the motives that are in the film, the story itself, you can follow it from point A to point B to point C, and it makes sense. While in The Human Vapor, there are things that happen in it, and it sort of disregards its own rules. And as a result, I think The Human Vapor is inferior to The Invisible Man. Still a good movie though. I still recommend it if any of you can find it.
Mm.
That's a movie. That's one of Ishiro Honda's movies that has never officially been released over here on home media,
Mm.
or at least on DVD. It's been on released on VHS, but it was the horribly re-edited and butchered American version. That's just
Cl-
garbage.
Classic maneuver.
Yep. Yep. Actually, Justin, I'm going to say this. I think the H-Man, another Shiro Honda movie that has been released on DVD over here, another Shiro Honda film, is better than The Human Vapor, and I would say is pretty close to The Invisible Man. I really like the H-Man. I enjoy it quite a bit. So Shiro Honda made three horror-esque kind of movies: the H-Man, the Human Vapor, and then Matango. And Matango especially is a fucking masterpiece. It's so creepy. And that film is about these people who are on a yacht that gets shipwrecked on an island that's like completely desolate because of radiation. And the only thing that seems to thrive on that island that's quote unquote a food source are these mushrooms. However, on a shipwreck on that island, they discover in the journal that you do not eat the mushrooms. Do not. Which sounds silly, like don't eat the shrooms, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's a clever commentary on a few other things, but at least on that was it's a commentary on Japan's drug problems at the time. And so on and so forth. But if you eat the mushrooms, and of course characters do because they start getting so hungry, it's got an intoxicating effect to it that makes you want to eat more, but in the process, it starts turning you into a mushroom.
Oh shit!
And
That
that's how the mushrooms reproduce.
You become Toad from Mario.
that sounds very similar to a story that was in Uzumaki.
Quite a few of Shiro Honda's films have horror elements. You're absolutely right, Mike. War of the Gargantuas, in particular, has a horror feel throughout the entire thing,
Last movie.
which is funny because you'd think Frankenstein Conquers the World or Frankenstein versus Baragon.
Yeah,
Yet,
that's a good point.
you'd think that movie would have horror elements in it, and it really doesn't. And that's one of the problems I actually have with the movie. While War of the Gargantuas has some really great horror elements with it, the opening on the ship, you know, the fact that Gyra eats people, and so on and so forth, the gloomy atmosphere on the mountains throughout the entire film and such, it's got some horror elements in it that I really
Yeah, yeah.
like. And I can say it worked because when I was a kid, it did scare me.